Good morning. I'm looking a little worse for wear this Tuesday. Anyway, I've got a book update, but before we talk about the book, I want to try out the new Alani with you guys. The cotton candy flavor. Listen, if you've been around for many, many years, you know I am an OG Alani new lover. I've had my relationship with them lately has been a little, it's all one-sided, but I'm just a little upset with them because they discontinued my favorite flavor, which was mimosa, and then they changed my second favorite flavor. They let freaking Brittany Mahomes get her grubby little hands all over Hawaiian shaped ice. So it's no longer good. And not just because Brittany Mahomes did it. It's just not good anymore. So yeah, they have been coming out with new flavors. Some of them have been hit or miss for me. This one I've been seeing everywhere though. And for the most part, people have been really loving it. I just yesterday had to go to Walmart to grab a few things and I found it. So I grabbed two of them because I do have a case on the way, because before yesterday, I couldn't find this anywhere. It was in 0 stores around me. So I just went ahead and ordered the case when it dropped on their website. But then I found it yesterday, so I'm like, I'm going to try it. So I figured I would try it out with you guys, because I'm sure a lot of you are Alani new drinkers as well. Let's see, let's smell it. Okay, I'm getting a little hint of cotton candy. Like, it does kind of smell like cotton candy. I don't think I like that. That's very sweet. I was hoping it would be a little more sour. I like them a little sour, a little tart. This is straight up sugar. I don't think I like it. Oh no. I've got 12 of them to drink. Dang it. I don't know. Maybe my husband will like them. I don't know. It's just overly sweet. Yeah. I don't think I like that. Listen, I wasn't too crazy about the strawberry sunrise either. I thought that was a little too sweet. Moving on, because I've talked about that for 3 minutes. Liv Constantine, the wife Stalker. I finished this book yesterday. And I could have updated you yesterday, but I wanted to take a little time away from the book because the last 10% of this book was really good and really twisty. But that was, I'm not saying the whole entire book wasn't good, but sometimes I tend to rate things, not even just thrillers. I will rate a book if, like, based on a twist that happened in the last, 80-90% of the book. And so for this one, I'm like, let me just take a second. Let me sit on it for a second and see how I feel. I think I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. It was an enjoyable read, and I definitely did not see the twists coming, but I think had it not been for that last 10%, this would have been like a 2-star, a 3-star. So we are following 2 different perspectives from 2 different women. We have Piper, who has just recently moved to this town in Connecticut. She's moved from, I think, like either San Diego or San Francisco, somewhere in California. And she is having to start her life over. She is, she's bought this sort of healing, counseling practice. She does a lot of the, as some people would say, the woo-woo stuff, She's just very into like meditation and doing things the natural way. And her practice has been very successful. And then we have Joanna. When we first see Joanna, she is desperately trying to get the man that she loves, Leo, out of this funk that he has been in. He has been in a depression, and she's just desperate to have the man that she fell in love with back. And she's also taking care of her 2 children, a little girl and a little boy, and she loves them dearly. And how Leo and Piper meet. So Joanna finds out about this clinic, this practice that Piper has, and she's like, you know what, some of my friends have gone and they've really, they've had good results. Maybe you should try it out. Maybe it'll help you get out of your depression, this funk that you were in. And so he goes, he takes one of Piper's classes, and they hit it off immediately. Then Joanna, her mother ends up falling and hurting her leg. And instead of her mother moving in with Joanna and Leo and the kids, he's like, no, you go and stay with your mother. Well, then a couple days later, there are movers knocking on her mother's door saying, here's your things. And Leo's like, yeah, don't come back. This was never going to work. And she is convinced that it's because of Piper. Piper has got her clutches in him. There's something fishy about her, and she's not having it. So she decides, I'm going to look into you. I'm going to look into your background. I'm going to find out everything that I can about you. And she also does some stalking of them on the side. So I did really enjoy this, but I do think it got a little bit repetitive at times for me. But then the end made up for it. But then did the ending make up for everything, like make up for the whole book? Not necessarily for me. But I did enjoy this. So 3.5 stars, I would recommend. The next book that I ended up starting this yesterday as well is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. This is a historical fiction book that is also a movie. This has a lot of praise, a lot of hype surrounding both the book and the movie. And obviously I've never read the book and I have never seen the movie. So I'm very, very excited to read this book and see what it's about. And I am... let's see, I stopped like in the middle of a chapter, but I am 10 chapters into this book so far. We're following a few different perspectives. We have Abilene and Minnie, who are housemaids. They are African-American housemaids in the South, Jackson, Mississippi in 1962. And then you have, what is her name? Skeeter? Yeah, Miss Skeeter. We have her perspective. She is a white woman who is from a very wealthy family, and she's not like everyone else in the South. She has recently graduated college, and she doesn't think that Blacks, African Americans should be treated the way that they are. She doesn't think it's right. And her dream is to become a journalist. But still, in this time, it's only men who are doing these types of jobs. But she actually sends in her resume for, I forget exactly, but somewhere in New York. And she gets a call back from a woman, or a letter from a woman who's like, I appreciate that you had the audacity to email me. Like, let's see what you can do. And so she ends up pitching this idea to her, and she lies and says that they've already agreed to it, that these women, the help, have agreed to let her write about sort of their lives and how they feel about working for these white families. And so she's trying to get Abilene to help her out. And the part that I just got to, Abilene has agreed to do this. So far, I am really enjoying this. I think there's going to be a lot of good discussion in here about racism and things that went on in the South in, pretty recent future for us here in America. And I'm sure a lot of it is going to be parallel to kind of what's going on today, some of the commentary and things like that. So I'm just really excited to dive into this book more and get to know these characters more, and then watch the movie, because I'm very, very excited to watch the movie. I've always wanted to watch it, and I think kind of subconsciously I've been holding out from watching the movie because I wanted to read the book first. And someone did tell me, though, that they thought that this was one of the instances where the movie was better than the book. So I'm excited, but those are my reading updates. I've got a lot that I need to get done today. We are leaving soon for Kentucky. We're going home for like 3-ish weeks. So I desperately have to start getting my videos filmed for when I'm gone. And also, now that I've started my Patreon, I need to get some of those videos pre-filmed so I can have those up and have something, for you guys to watch. So got lots to do today. I'm going to continue reading this book. I don't know if I'm going to finish it today. I hope so. We'll see. But I'll update you whenever I have an update. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that I end up liking this more. I don't think I will, though. Well, hello, vlog. I wanted to update you all on the book that I am currently, the book that I have finished, but also let you know that, I hated the cotton candy Alani knew. It was terrible. I tried to force myself to drink it, got about halfway through, and then I was like, I ended up just pouring it down the drain. So yeah, it was so bad. It was so bad. But something that wasn't bad was The Help. This was so good, you guys. I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars, 4.5, 5 stars. I don't know. I flew through this book. I loved the characters. I loved the story. And I loved it so much that when I finished the book, I bought the movie and watched the movie because it was so good. The movie was really, really, really well done as well. It hit a lot of the points in here that, was in the book. So I think they did a really good job with that adaptation. But yeah, I loved the friendships in here, unlikely friendships, the trust that these women developed with each other because of what they were doing, but they were doing it for a good cause and doing it to try and shed light on a different perspective than what was being told then, and it was hopeful. It was a very hopeful book, and sad, very sad at times. I mean, it is so hard to believe that people were treated this way. In such like a recent future, it's just hard for me to wrap my head around. But it was also funny, very funny at times, very humorous, but just a really, really freaking good book. So if you have not read The Help, you need to do so and then go watch the movie because it was fantastic. Fantastic. So the book that I'm going to read next, because I have 2 thrillers, 2 historical fiction, that's just kind of how it was drawn. We're going to do The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I'm gonna read this, see what I think about it. I'm a little nervous because I don't hear good things about this. Like, really nothing good about it. So, we shall see. We shall see how I feel. I got a new hat, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like it makes my ears pop a little bit, you know, right here. And then the bill, I still can't get it to eek like I want it. But I finished The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Okay, you guys, I expected this to be the worst book that I've ever read. With the way people talk about this, how much they hate this book, like this is his worst book that he's ever published. I'm like, I don't know. Yes, it is one of those thrillers where it's like, okay, that is super far-fetched. No one is ever going to guess the twist. It's kind of like, here it is, Behind Her Eyes. It's one of those thrillers where it's like, okay, what is going on? And you get to the end and you're like, not in a million years would anyone have guessed what was happening. And that's the same in this book, okay? I'm not saying it's like the same twist, but it's along those lines of like, yeah, you're never gonna. So we are following Casey, who she is an actress, but she has been dealing with alcoholism since her husband drowned. Her husband died at their lake house. And once she is fired from a job because she showed up drunk, her mother is basically banishing her to this lake house that she lived with her husband, where her husband drowned and they found his body. And so she's pretty miserable. She's going through a lot and drinking a lot. And she starts like becoming a little obsessed with watching her neighbors and their house. So she meets Kathryn, who lives across the lake from her. Her and her husband just moved in, and they become friends. And then Casey saves her from drowning. And again, she's watching their house with binoculars. Very nosy neighbor. And she starts to notice things. She's like, I don't think that things are as hunky-dory. I don't think their marriage is as good as people are letting on, as they are letting on. And things kind of go from there. So because Casey is an alcoholic, she's a very unreliable narrator, because she very often will wake up and not remember what she did the night before, what happened, what she was doing, nothing at all. And so you're kind of wondering throughout this book, are you just crazy? Are you going crazy? Are you making this up in your head? What truly is happening? I will say, I think the beginning was a little slow for me, but things did start to pick up around like the 45-50% mark. I think I enjoyed this. I think this is, I think I'm going to rate this the same as The Wife Stalker. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I don't think this was as bad as everyone claims that it is. I don't know. I did roll my eyes. I'm like, what the heck? But I had fun with it, okay? I had fun. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. And then I'm going to read, this is going to be the last book that I read, The Warsaw Orphan by Kelly Rimmer. I have heard such good things about this book. This will be my second Kelly Rimmer read. I read The Things We Cannot Say last year and loved it. It was my favorite book of the year. So I have very, 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 very high hopes for this book, but I will update you all once I start this, or who knows, I may start it and finish it in the same day and update you at once like I did this. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll see you when I see you. Hello, vlog. I have my final update for this Read It or Unhaul It vlog because I have finished The Warsaw Orphan by Kelly Rimmer. Now, I really liked this book and part of me really wants to give it 5 stars, but this is not up there with The Things We Cannot Say by her. This was a solid book, but it just didn't, I don't know. Like, it was good, really, really freaking good, but just something is holding me back from giving it a full 5 stars. Like, it just doesn't feel in my heart, in my gut, that this is a 5-star read for me. And I know that makes 0 sense, but you know, to me, it makes a little bit of sense. So I think I'm gonna settle on like a 4.5 star for this one. So we are following 2 different perspectives, and we start out in 1942 in Warsaw, and we are following a young 14-year-old girl named Elżbieta. I believe that's how you say her name. She is living with her adopted parents and her uncle in Warsaw. And she has already seen the cruelty at the hands of the Germans, but she's still a little naive as to what is truly going on around her. And one day her uncle takes her to this sort of carnival that is in their town. And as she is riding the Ferris wheel, she gets a glimpse into the Jewish ghetto that is in Warsaw. And she is just like, she cannot stop thinking about it. And so she decides that she needs to do something. She goes and talks to someone who lives in the building, her neighbor, who is Sarah. Sarah works for kind of an underground establishment, place, company, I don't know, to help smuggle Jewish children out of these ghettos. And what they have tasked Elżbieta with is teaching these young Jewish children Catholic prayers, how to recite them so they can pass as Catholic. And that is where she meets the second point of view that we get in here, Roman. Now, Roman is Catholic, but his mother is Jewish and is married to his stepfather, who is Jewish. And they are living in this ghetto. His mother had a baby girl recently, and with the rations of food, she's not really able to, she can't really sustain herself, much more like produce milk for this baby. And so the baby is like developmentally, she's just not where she should be. She's really quiet and just a tiny little thing because she's not getting the nutrients that she needs. And so Roman is doing everything that he possibly can at 16 years old to help his family in whatever way possible. And Sarah and Elżbieta end up finding a home for his sister. So she is saved. She is taken out of the ghetto. But Roman comes home from work one day and his family is gone. They were loaded up, put on a train, and he does not know where they are. And there is a uprising. They want to fight back the Germans in the ghetto. So he is part of that. He is part of this rebellion, and he barely makes it out alive. And he goes to the one place where he knows, he knows no one outside of Sarah and Elżbieta. So he shows up at their doorstep and they help him in any way that they can. And this is just a story of like, there's so much death and destruction and like constant. Roman is going through a constant battle in his head of wanting to fight back and wanting to do everything that he can to fight these Germans and to free their city and to have it be handed back over to Polish and, you know, Polish people, because once they are liberated, the Russians come in and now they're under a communist party, and he's desperate to fight. And it's, you know, you see him and Elżbieta struggle in their relationship, but also blossoming as individual people and blossoming in their relationships. And the found family aspect of this book is absolutely beautiful, and just, you always come out of stories like this feeling hopeful, and it's bittersweet because you know that they've gone through a lot, but yet somehow they still remain hopeful even when they have been beaten down time and time again. They find the little joys in life, and it's just beautiful. I freaking love historical fiction so much. I love it so much. It's so good. So yeah, this I think is like a 4.5 star read. It was really, really good. And then let's recap a little bit. We have The Wife Stalker by Liv Constantine. What did I say I gave this one? Was it 3 stars? I think it was 3. And then I read The Help by Kathryn Stockett. I think I said I'm going to give this 5 stars, but again, I think this might be, I don't know. 4.5, 5 stars. I got to think about that because it was really good. And the movie was so good too. And so I need to kind of separate the two in my mind. And then we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This I gave 3.5 stars, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, overall, a pretty decent vlog here. So as far as what I'm going to unhaul, these two are definitely staying on my shelves, but I think I can probably get rid of these two. I'm not going to read them. If they're 3 stars and a thriller, not like 5-star all-time favorite, I think these two can go. So that is 2 books cleared off of my shelf. Now, let's see. If you have made it to this point in the video, let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. I'm really curious if you read this book. Did you think it was as bad as everyone else says it is? Because this is probably his like worst book. Maybe Survive the Night might be pretty bad too. But I hear lots of bad things about that one. So if you've read The House Across the Lake, let me know what you thought of it. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you'd like to leave me an emoji, leave me, I'm trying to think of an emoji for one of these 2 books. Is there a slice of pie? If there's like a slice of pie or like a slice of cake, leave that down below, because if you've read this book, you know why. But yes, thank you again for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more exclusive content from me, my Patreon is linked down below. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.